everybody. This is Keith Gleason, host of Indie Comics Relay and creator of the Mighty Mascots, and I'm here with another 5 questions with an indie creator segment. Before we get into that, I just want to remind everybody that Mighty Mascots 7, 8, and 9 is still available on Indiegogo. We had a little bit of movement this week, which is awesome. I've been showing on Twitter. We're working on what they call Keshi figures. They are sort of like, if you remember in the 80s, they used to have these pink little wrestler guys called muscle figures. And it used to be like kind of like the original Pokemon where you would collect them all. And there was like tons of variants. I love those figures growing up because, for me, wrestling was like the 1980s and on. So we're working on those, and we got the molds in the last few weeks. So I'm excited. We'll probably have them by early 2023. And I may throw them on this campaign if, we'll see how everything is progressing. But I may throw them on there as a perk so people can order them and put them with their orders for the comic book as well. But yeah, check it out. 7, 8, and 9 going strong. If we get up to 10,000, everybody's going to get a temporary tattoo. So we're slowly getting there, We'll see if we can make it there by the time I close the campaign out, probably in early 2023 sometime, But yeah, check it out. It's 3 new issues, and it's great. So I'm having a lot of fun with writing these 3 issues in particular. So all right, that is it for this promo. Let's get back into our 5 questions segment. So this creator was on our show on a live stream. Oh my God, I don't remember how long ago. Maybe a couple months ago. Great guy. He's got a new Kickstarter out for a book called Thieves. And he was, we book our live streams out so far because we only do them every other week that we are actually already booking for January, which is crazy. And then we're actually looking to, once January hits, move to Tuesday nights instead of Wednesday nights because Wednesdays seem to be kind of crowded. So we figured maybe we'll move to Tuesday and see, how that goes for us, But anyways, DP wanted to come back on the show to promote his Kickstarter, but we didn't have a space for him. But he jumped at the chance to do the 5 question segment. So this is awesome. So I came up with some fun questions. I went a little over 5 this time. I actually came up with like about 8 of them. So, but I threw a couple fun ones in there because I always like to. When people answer fun questions, you kind of get to know them a little more, a little better, their personality, rather than just the technical, how did you create this? It's like I always like to throw a little funness in there, especially when we do our interviews too, So first, before that, I want to show his Kickstarter campaign. So it just went live, I think 3 days ago. This will probably be up either tomorrow or Wednesday. I think tomorrow it will be up. It's, he's on his way. He's already about halfway there to his goal, which is awesome. Good for you, DP. This is a great, strong start for you, man. But yeah, it's Theme of Thieves. He pitches it as Lost meets The Wire meets Quantum Leap. So I love the combination there. I can't imagine what the story would be, but this dude on the video here looks really cool. Some of the artwork looks really great too. So check this one out. I'll have the link to the Kickstarter in the description of the videos below. And you'll see as we do this question segment how much of a cool guy DP is. So. But yeah, check this out. It looks great. Artwork looks cool. I like time travel stories, so this could be a lot of fun, So check that one out. What was I going to say? So let's, without further ado, let's get into the question segment. So the first thing I asked DP to do was to give us a quick elevator pitch for Theme of Thieves, and here's what he said.
Thank you, Keith, for having me on today. My name is DP Brown. I am the writer and creator of The Theme of Thieves. Thanks also for everyone at Indies Comic Relay for having me on. So basically, the theme of Thieves, the quick elevator pitch, is it's about two teens and a mysterious being who are traveling through time, and they're trying to solve the mystery of why people are disappearing in the present. So if you're a big fan of content such as like Lost, the TV show from back in the aughts, The Wire from HBO, and also Quantum Leap, NBC show from back in the 80s, one of my favorite shows. This is for you. The theme of Thieves. If you're into a good time travel mystery, which is what the theme of Thieves is, this is definitely for you.
All right, so that was great. Second question. What are some of the qualities that make up a good time travel story?
Some of the qualities that make up a good time travel story, I believe, are you have to have like a great protagonist who, number one, is willing to jump through time and actually and be amazed at some of the places that he or she goes. I like Sam Beckett in the fact that him and that he jumped through time, and each time period that he traveled through, he was always shocked and surprised and ended up in bodies that he didn't expect to be in, and always made the best of the situation that he was in. So he was given guidance, and I just love like the whole premise and concept of, just him just going like, through time like that and righting the wrongs of, things during like, those periods that he was in. So that's one of the qualities. Another quality that I think you should have is like that ability to suspend belief. If you're having a protagonist that is not used to like, sci-fi concepts inside the story as far as like traveling through time and everything. I think the quality of them suspending, the disbelief and everything is a great thing. If you have like a 1-2 punch of like multiple characters traveling through time, great reaction shots and reaction scenes of them, trying to figure things out, joking about how things are different from what they came from, in the present is a great thing. And you could have some really good comedy bits and stuff with people who you react to, or the characters that can react to in like the past and everything. So, a person back in the 50s knows nothing about like iPhones or, phones or what have you, cell phones and stuff. So for them to react to stuff like that, if you bring it back into time, can be like a good bit and stuff.
Okay, here's our first fun question. Who did time traveling better? Marty McFly, John Connor, or Luke Wilson from Idiocracy?
All right, so who did time travel better? Unfortunately, I did not see Idiocracy with Luke Wilson, but I did see Marty McFly and also John Connor in the Terminator and Back to the Future movies. Two of my favorite time travel movies ever. I would say the Back to the Future trilogy is my favorite time travel just trilogy period. Not just time travel, just trilogy period. The way that they, introduce the concept of time travel and like the rules of time travel, you if you go back into the past, it messes up the future. So you can't interact with, with yourself in the past. And, if you try to interact with too many people in the past, it might mess up your present. So I just love those, concepts. The whole Terminator, John Connor, I just can't get enough of like the first two. Those are like the most important, Terminator movies to me, because James Cameron did such a magnificent job of creating a concept that he did in the first movie and sort of redoing it in a twisted, in a twisted way in the second.
All right, number 4. What are your characters based off any famous science fiction archetypes?
The characters in my story, The Theme of Thieves, are the big three. Which basically I'm starting off with Rebecca, Jason, and also the man in the red suit, who's the mystery guy. So he's a mystery person that, is jumping through time, and he ends up coming to the present, and eventually he's taking Jason and Rebecca, and they're about to go on their shenanigans. I'm now on the third issue of the series and everything, and I had to use the first issue to sort of like build the characters and have Rebecca and Jason be like our main two characters in the story, building up their character, and then the mystery person, the man in the red suit, he's sort of our secret character, the guy that's that we don't know much about, but we see different points of him in different time periods, juxtaposed with things that are happening in the present with our main two, Rebecca and Jason. So they're not based on any type of archetypes, but if you want to look at the man in the red suit in a hero type archetype, I guess you can. I don't really look at him as like a hero, even though you probably look at his look. He's a guy in glasses, in a mask, and he has a red suit, bright red, with a tie. Sort of a little different than what you would see your average superhero with a cape and like tights and stuff on, but nevertheless he is somebody mysterious and something that's not really relatable to in the present time that I have my story set in. So he's a mythical type figure that, because he's been jumping through time so much, people, especially children, have gotten to actually see him in different types of jumps and stuff when he's actually made it to like their present, and he's jumped back out of the time and everything, to the point where they've made actually a song, about him. It goes like crazy man, red, 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 black with the yellow tie, dead, dead, dead. So they actually made like a little nursery rhyme involving like, crazy man, which is what they've dubbed him. Whenever they see him pop up in the present. I'm sorry, pop up in their time period.
All right, number 5. What was your biggest challenge as a writer bringing this story to life?
So it took me about 4 years to get the first arc of the story, done. I hope it doesn't take me another 4 years to do like the next 4 issues, but being a writer is hard. To come up with concepts and everything and have them stick and everything is not easy. But I was a big fan of The Leftovers, and a big fan of just the concept of what if somebody just disappears, and how would a person react? How would a world react? In The Leftovers, you get like the 2%, being taken away and never coming back, and how society deals with that. My concept in the theme of Thieves is a thing called evanescence. Evanescence is when people just disappear randomly, and it's a way of life. So basically, if you're in a room with your parents and you're eating dinner, with a family and everything, and one of those family individuals just disappears, and there's no rhyme or reason. They're just done, and you have to deal with that. So my comic sort of deals with like the aftermath and like how a society will react, to these, occurrences that have been happening since like the 1700s and have been escalating, ever since then, to a point where, it gets to be a real serious issue with people just disappearing, all the time now. But it was a challenge coming up with like the different concepts and like I guess the Bible on how, these things will work and how the rules will work and stuff. And I finally got to a point where I had the courage to actually put it down on paper.
All right, number 6. What kind of advice would you give a comic creator about making comic books?
So this is a great question. So the advice I would give a creator, looking to make comics, is that be ready to invest in your passion. So it's not a cheap passion. It's something that if you want to see it work, you have to put a lot of your, not number one, time, but number two, financial, for your finances into it. So you can't expect people to support you if you don't try to do it first for yourself. Okay. So before I took on any type of Kickstarters, I work my regular, 9 to 5 job, and I've always wanted to do comics. I've always wanted to, see, some of my characters come to life and everything. So I decided to, if I was going to make this work, I knew I was going to have to invest, a significant amount of, finances into this project. I guess if you look at the fact of what I was spending my money on before versus spending this money on this, it's something to really, consider, because you spend money on arbitrary stuff and they just go to waste and you don't really get nothing of value out of it. Okay. You just may spend money on a present, for yourself, or just random stuff, clothes, electronics, or games, or whatever you're into and everything. You get a immediate pleasure out of it, but you don't get anything really long term from it, and you keep spending the money on certain things to keep giving you that fulfillment. What I've looked at as far as bringing a comic to life and making a comic is that same money I was spending on stuff that wasn't really bringing me value, this stuff here, putting money into my project, investing money into artists, investing money into letter colors and everything, is giving me so much pleasure. It's to the point where it's something I just can't keep my mind off of. Not only do you have to do the creative side of creating the damn thing, you have to do the business side as well. So it's like oil mixing with water and everything. So doing the business stuff, it's not an easy thing, but it's something that you have to do, and you have to have the passion to know that, once you complete the one project, you can go on to the next and just keep going until you get to that point where hopefully you gain some support. If you do enough, get enough fans and followers to where a publisher or someone can pick you up and actually start doing that portion of the work for you, then you can, concentrate. But, it's just a tried and true thing. You invest in yourself, and people, the old adage, if you build it, they will come. My best advice to a comic creator: invest in your passion if that's what you want to do.
All right. Number 7, is science fiction your preferred genre for writing?
Yes. Well, yes. Because I do like, I do like the paranormal, type stuff, the sci-fi, I've always been into superheroes, and, I've grew up on Spider-Man, Batman, and, all those characters and stuff. Always was fascinated with the concept of secret identities and, people with powers, and, their stories, their responsibilities that come with it, worlds that are being built, that are outside of our own, supernatural concepts and everything. So science fiction, yes, I would say it is my preferred writing genre, because it gives you the most ability to create on a big landscape and have the imagination that is much bigger than yourself.
All right, and then our final fun question: what are your top 3 time travel movies of all time?
My top 3 time traveling movies are Back to the Future, Terminators 1 and 2, I should say, the Back to the Future trilogy. And I would say The Time Traveler's Wife was pretty good. It was a great, emotional story. And it went through different periods of, their lives and stuff. That made it a really good time travel movie. So I would say like The Time Traveler's Wife. So, thanks again, Keith, for, having me on. Thanks again for Indie Comics Relay. My Kickstarter, The Theme of Thieves, is out now. So make sure that you guys are going on to either themeofthieves.com or go on to Kickstarter and type in Theme of Thieves. Make sure that you are backing. We're checking out my Kickstarter. We have a 5-page preview on there, and you'll see everything on the Kickstarter for you to back. I am on issue 3 right now, but you still have a chance to catch up in particular tiers on issues 1 and 2. So the Kickstarter is for all 3 issues. So if you haven't gotten the first 2 issues, don't worry, you are able to get all 3 issues right there. So you can actually get the first 3 chapters to the story. So I want to thank everyone who's actually backing me. Thanks to Dan Ekus, thanks to Ruben Gonzalez, thanks to Alex Ziev, and also thanks to everyone who is supporting the Thief and Thieves. Mark Della Verda, my letterer, Sam Rashida, he's the editor. Thanks for all to all my team, and like I said, all my backers. Thanks again, Indie Comics Relay, for having me on.
All right, DP did a great job. Thank you, DP, for joining us for this segment of 5 questions with a creator, even though that was more like 8 questions. But, who's counting, right? So, like I said, everybody, check the link out for DP's Kickstarter below. Check it out. Back this guy. He's got 26 days or so left to go before the campaign's over, and he's about halfway there. Help him get him over the finish line. And then if you have a little bit of money left, head on over to Indiegogo and give Mighty Mascots a look. See if that's, if you're not sick of me pushing it yet, check that one out as well. All right. So thank you, everybody. Join us Wednesday this week. We're back on the live stream. This one's going to be interesting. We got a publishing group coming on the show. It's like 4 or 5 creators that kind of came together to form their own publishing imprint called Savage Sandbox. So it should be interesting. I'd love to hear like the dynamics of that and how that all works. So if you do too, come and join us or watch us on the channel the next day live. All right, everybody, have a great week. We will talk to you later, and most important, read some comics. All right, have a good one, everybody. Bye.